What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another weather forecast here by meteorologist Adrian's Weather Forecast, and this will be another update here on major winter storm Orlena, as it is continuing bringing extremely heavy snow for portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, and as well as portions of the Ohio Valley throughout today, all the way up to tomorrow. So we still have a lot to talk about. A lot is yet left to come here. For areas like New York City, for areas like Allentown, areas like the New England region, we are talking maybe even worse than winter storm gale snowfall totals like New York City, like Hartford, like Allentown. We may see worse totals than what Gale brought. So definitely something to keep in mind here. We're looking as well maybe some whiteout conditions with the gusty winds. We may see 3 to 4 inches per hour in some areas here. So we're looking at a very large coastal threat with this major windstorm, storm, maybe even blizzard or Orlena here. But before we get the video, be sure to subscribe if you guys want to get the timing exactly as well, who can get the worst of this major winter storm, so you can get updated. I will have another update on this evening, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you can get notified. And if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get in the video. So here's like now at the National Weather Service, and now you do see we have extended a lot of these alerts here. So now we have windstorm watches as far as the New England region here. Windstorm watches have now been issued for New York City, portions of coastal Connecticut, and as well southern New York. Much of Pennsylvania, the eastern and central half has warnings as well, and these warnings stretch all the way as far as the North Carolina border with Virginia, as we will continue to see extremely heavy snow. But you're probably wondering, why do we still have warnings and advisories for the Midwest? And that's because this low pressure will have a backspin. So this low pressure is going to go backwards actually and bring that all this moisture to the west once again. So it's going to bring even some more snow, additional snow actually for portions of Chicago, for portions of the Midwest and the Great Lakes here. So that's why we will have additional snow left to come here. Even though it's all the way over here, it's gonna have a backspin and bring that moisture back to the west here, which is exactly why we're gonna be seeing so much snow for these areas. Even New York City, as you're probably thinking, how is New York City getting the bullseye? It never really happens. Well, that's because this low pressure, it's going to bring in all this cold air and all that moisture meeting up right here. And the thing is, we have a high pressure with that cold Arctic blast, and that's going to bring in, of course, very dry air across portions of the Northeast. But from the coast, we're meeting a ton of moisture, and that's exactly why we have those warnings for coastal regions. And the watches, of course, extend more into New England, all of Massachusetts, all of Maine, all of New Hampshire, and all of Vermont. So basically all of New England's under some type of alert here, and those will most likely convert into warnings very soon. But areas like Allentown, State College, Harrisburg, DC still under a warning here, as that more snow's left to come. Just outside near Greensboro, we have an advisory just near Raleigh as well. As those watches remain for the Appalachians, and then you got these advisories, of course, across areas where we will be seeing additional few inches of snow. But we still have over 50 million people under some type of alert here, including the tri-state area, DC, Chicago, Milwaukee. So definitely something to keep in mind. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the future radar. So here's like now at the HRRR, which of course only 18 hours out. So this obviously won't show the whole storm, but there's that main system right here with that low pressure, bringing extremely heavy snow across another coastal mid-Atlantic event, which we just saw earlier last week. Around Monday and Tuesday, we saw that very heavy snow in the Mid-Atlantic, and now we're seeing once again a back-to-back storm for the coastal Mid-Atlantic. But Richmond seeing some heavy snow, Norfolk seeing some heavy snow, Durham and Raleigh, even Greensboro, you guys may see some dangerous icy conditions, which it shouldn't really stick, but however, still will be kind of icy. But there we still got some snow across portions of the Midwest, and that will, as a backspin of that low pressure, continues to now bring that snow back to the west. We'll see some more snow for Columbus, some more snow for Indianapolis, or more snow for Louisville. And look how heavy that snow is going to be. Almost the whole state of Pennsylvania may see some snow at some point. Philadelphia, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, the tri-state area going to start seeing some snow by later into tonight, of course. In the next 12 hours and getting to tomorrow morning, things will get messy here. They see extremely heavy snow continue for New York City. Then the tri-state area going to be quite heavy actually, and you see that moisture still behind that low pressure. So any precipitation left, it's going to be snow, because that's how cold it'll be getting to Nashville, Lexington, and it should actually move more to the south towards Georgia, South Carolina, and even Alabama. But that's what we have the next 18 hours here. But let's go ahead and look now at the NAM 3 kilometer. So here's looking out the 93 kilometer here, and this obviously goes 60 hours out, so we can maybe see the whole thing here. But of course, maybe see some nice severe weather across portions of the southeast as we continue throughout today. But there we see more to the north, extremely heavy snow across portions of the mid-Atlantic. Some snow continuing for areas like DC, Richmond, as well as Roanoke, even Pittsburgh. And there you see we still have a ton of snow continuing across portions of the Midwest there, even though that's not where the main low pressure is. It's just because we have all that precipitation and moisture left behind. So it's still going to be seeing some snow for Chicago, for Upper Illinois, for Southern Wisconsin, of course, much of Central Indiana, Central Ohio, and extremely heavy snow continuing there across the Mid-Atlantic there, Annapolis, areas like the whole state of Delaware, much of New Jersey there, and that's going to continue into New York City. Going to be very, very heavy here, and that's because that low pressure is going to be right there, bringing the heaviest precipitation rate right there in downtown tri-state area. And there you see that snow, that backspin. It's going to help allow for that moisture to go back to the west, and you're going to bring in more and more additional snow for areas like Kentucky there, Louisville, Evansville, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, Nashville, and we'll bring in some snow there as well to Georgia, Alabama, but won't be too much. But look how heavy that snow is still there. Heavy snow continues there in New York City. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. It's going to continue to stick there, and there you see that backspin, and it's going to bring that snow even more and more to the west there into areas like Albany and to Allentown again. But New York City's still getting hit very hard. I mean, look at that. They won't stop getting hit until really Tuesday morning. They're still going to get some snow into Tuesday morning. That's exactly why New York City may get near 2 feet of snow. It's definitely not out of the probability here. But let's now go ahead and look now at what we're going to be seeing here for the actual northeast here. There you see the next few hours into tonight, tomorrow morning. That snow will continue to increase for New York City there in the tri-state area, as well Atlantic City, State College there, Pittsburgh, southern New York there as well. And we get the next 24 hours here by tomorrow at this time. That snow may bring in whiteout conditions for portions of New York City with some strong gusts here. Some snow continue for Hartford. That snow will expand east and west as that low pressure is going to have a little backspin there, and it's going to move westward, and that's going to help bring in some more snow there. There you see for areas like Albany, extremely, maybe even whiteout conditions for portions of Hartford, Connecticut, for Albany, for New York City, for Boston. There you see that snow still there across the Ohio Valley. And there you see extremely heavy snow for areas like Augusta, Portland, Bangor, everything near Mount Washington, the Adirondacks, and there you see, so you're going to see some remaining snow showers there across the tri-state area, all the way in Delaware, much of Pennsylvania, and that's because all that cold air from that high pressure is still there. Again, we won't be seeing too much snow for the Adirondacks for air like the Great Lake, like Lake Huron, because we have that high pressure right there, bringing some very dry air across these areas here. However, the reason why it's going to be more of a coastal threat with extremely heavy snow for these areas is because we have that low pressure right there, going to bring all that moisture, plus the high pressure is going to bring that cold air. However, it won't be dry all the way in the Gulf, all the way into the Atlantic coast, because we have that moisture from that low pressure. Now here's looking now at the next 18 hours according to the ARRR. So these are snowfall totals to come for the next 18 hours. So Chicago, an additional 3 to 4 inches of snowfall there. Areas near Gary as well. Milwaukee, an additional 1 to 2 inches there as well. A trace left for Indianapolis. And maybe an additional inch or two for Columbus, but for upper Ohio, we may get an additional 3 inches there for Cleveland. An additional maybe 3 to 5 inches there for Pittsburgh. An additional foot left to come there for those higher elevations there in western Maryland. An additional inch or so, maybe even 2 inches for Washington, D.C. 2 to 4 inches there across areas like Salisbury, Dover. And look at that, in the next 18 hours, up to 6 inches there for New York City there. Downtown New York, the tri-state area. Allentown, additional 5 to 6 inches there to come in the next 18 hours. And then let's look at the next 60 hours here. And an absolute crazy. And look how all these totals increased. You're probably thinking, wait, the further it is, do you think the snow will stop? Well, it's because, of course, that backspin going to bring all that moisture for these areas again. Columbus, an additional half a foot, maybe left to come there. Cleveland, maybe 3 to 5 inches there. Of course, Chicago, you guys will be done very soon, so it's really only 3-4 inches left. However, Indianapolis, you guys will see more snow there. So areas like Indianapolis, an additional maybe 3 to maybe 4 inches of snow, or an additional maybe 2 to 3 inches of snowfall there. Areas like Lexington and Cincinnati, a few inches left. Maybe we can get an additional foot across those higher elevations there in the not the Rockies, sorry, in the Great Smoky Mountains. maybe a few inches there across East Central Tennessee, there outside, far outside of Nashville. May get, of course, a few more inches there in DC. So they're gonna get maybe another inch in the next 18 hours, but in the next 60 hours, we'll get maybe around 2 to 3 inches there for DC. Pittsburgh around a half foot there. Areas near the State College region in those higher elevations, they get near additional foot and a half. But look at the New York City region; it just blows up. It's like right in the bullseye for the tri-state area. It's an absolute bullseye, which we don't see much. And I'll actually show you that right here, there. And look at that. Maybe 30 inches of snowfall near upper New Jersey and as well in the tri-state area. So this could be the biggest storm in New York City since, I guess you could say, the 2015 blizzard here. Obviously, Gale brought 10 inches for New York City, but this could bring in twice as much as that. Boston may get around 13 to 15 inches of snowfall. The Long Island, all of Long Island may get over a foot of snow. So it's going to be a big, big coastal event. Look at this. Upper New York, on the upper Appalachians and New England, you don't see that much snow, and that's because that high pressure is gonna keep that dry air. And it's gonna keep it's gonna snow, but it won't be much because it's gonna be so dry. And look, we have all that moisture, and that's what it'll be. That big. That's exactly why it'll be a big coastal event here. But let's now zoom in here at specific cities. Look at DC. Next 60 hours, around 3 inches there. Maybe Baltimore, additional 2 inches there. Richmond, around a trace or so. Look right here in the higher Appalachians right here across upper Virginia, may get around an additional half or more than a foot there. 7 to 8 inches there for Pittsburgh. Look at Philadelphia, an additional 5 to 8 inches of snowfall off the Delaware River, around 4 inches, even maybe 5 inches, 6 inches in southern Delaware, and airs out there in Delmarva. May get around 5 inches left to come for Atlantic City. Let's now move in near the tri-state area there. Look at that. 25 inches there near Yonkers, up to 31 there near Newark, up to around 21 in downtown Manhattan. Looking at around 18 to 20 inches there near Islip, around New Haven. We may get up to 20 inches there as well. Look at the Appalachians in the upper Scranton region there, and the Poconos around 2 feet of snow. Allentown around a foot or so, maybe a little bit more than that. And there's the State College, who has those mountainous regions outside that, and that's where we may see around a foot or more left to come. Boston, you guys looking at anywhere from 11 to 13 inches there, but look at that coastal. Look how far that snow's going to go into the coastal region, up to half a foot of snow, or maybe even 50 to 60 miles off the coast here. So that's how big this coastal event will be. 16 inches there. Obviously, maybe Cape Cod may get a few inches there as well. Newport around 9 inches there. Hartford 15 to 20 inches as well. Even that Concord may get around half a foot. And as we go straight into tri-state area, look at that. 23 inches, maybe 21 inches of downtown Manhattan, according to the Nan 3 kilometer. I know the Nan 3 kilometer can overreact. However, they don't tend to overreact when it's this close. So definitely something to keep in mind. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye guys.